Before the platinum plaques, before the mixtape runs, before the dynasty, there was a kid from Holly Grove with a notebook full of rhymes and a city that didn't believe in happy ending. Dwayne Michael Carter Jr., born September 27, 1982, raised in one of New Orleans' toughest neighborhoods. In the 80s, Holly Grove wasn't just another neighborhood, it was a war zone. Crack had just hit New Orleans, murder rate was spiking, the Magnolia, the Calio, the Methamine, and the 17th Ward were all in chaos. But Holly Grove was different, small enough to be overlooked, but wild enough to birth legends. Kids weren't raised with toys, they was raised with trauma. Shootings were regular, dope boys ran the blocks. And if your family didn't hustle or pray, they usually didn't make it. This is where Lil Wayne grew up, not just in poverty, in a city that didn't believe in escape. His mother, Jacita Sita Carter, was only 19 when she had him, a young woman trying to hold it together while everything around her fell apart. Wayne's biological father left shortly after he was born, but then came Rabbit. Reginald Rabbit McDonald was a known figure in Holly Grove, a hustler, respected in the streets, not flashy like the big-time dealers, but solid, someone who kept their word and moved smart. Rabbit met Cedar through a mutual friend. The neighborhood was tight like that, and everybody knew each other. And when he saw how she held it down for her son on her own, he stepped in, not for Cedar, but for Wayne. Rabbit became Wayne's father in every way that counted. He didn't just put food on the table. He gave Wayne the confidence of a kid who knew someone had his back. And even though Rabbit was in the streets, he kept Wayne far away from him. No corner work, no late nights, no games. Wayne was different, and Rabbit knew it. This wasn't just some kid who could rhyme. He was a machine, writing bars at 8 years old, memorizing whole songs in just one sitting. Rabbit started telling people, Lil Dwayne, he gonna make it. Watch. But in New Orleans, love don't always win, and Rabbit's life in the streets was still the streets. Even if he tried to protect Lil Wayne, he had enemies, he had problems, and eventually, it caught up with him.
And wait. The association with Lil Wayne. Oh, you have any association with the
I don't have no association with him like that as far as knowing. I knew his stepfather from a distance, Rabbit.
Damn, you said his stepdad?
Yeah.
So Rabbit's not his real dad?
No, he's not his biological father, but he was there like that for him.
Well, if you had to explain his character, who was Rabbit?
See, like I said, I knew him from a distance, Rabbit. I knew him when he was known for fighting. Then when he started getting money. He started getting money. When he was getting it, he was on treated Wayne like his son, you know. Because Rabbit used to always give block parties. And it always was rumors when he was doing this thing, you know, that he said if anything happened to him, his old lady and son gonna be straight. Speaking of Sita and Lil Wayne.
Rabbit was pushing Wayne's career, his rap career.
I'm gonna basically say he had to be because he was a father to him.
About what time? I don't know if you remember around what time Baby came into the picture and all that.
I think he was in the picture at that time, but you still need, just like they said, Wayne couldn't curse because Sita wouldn't let him. Well, the daddy was Rabbit. So I mean, you be in their life. You see what I'm saying? So he was there.
So Lil Wayne know Birdman drew Rabbit?
No, I'm not saying that. Okay. I don't know where you know him from.
By the early 90s, Rabbit's name was huge in the streets, but the streets don't honor retirement plans, and New Orleans had a habit of swallowing the real ones early. One day, Rabbit was gone, shot and killed. No arrest, no justice, just silence.
Dedicated to my father, man. Feel that. Rest in peace, player. Feel that.
The city moved on, but Wayne never did. He was still just a kid, but everything changed. No more safety net, no more rules, just grief and a pen full of pain.
What was going on there?
That's the night Seetha married Rabbit. It was the reception. Wayne was rapping. I had just rapped before him because he used to be scared to rapping from people. He used to always come get me to rap. You know what I'm saying? Because Rabbit used to bring him in the hood and drop him off by our house because we had all the equipment by us having the label and messing with music. And we had a couple of groups that we had songs on the radio.
About how old was Wayne at that time on that picture?
I want to say like 13 years old or something like that. And Rabbit used to punish Wayne when he get in trouble at school. You know what the punishment was? He'll tell him he couldn't write no raps. And I'd be on side of him and be like, "Man, what the fuck are you talking about? You can't write no raps. What that mean?" And he'll be like, "Man, they go shit that mother if you can't write no rap." I'm like, "Man, that ain't no punishment." He say, "Shit, I'm telling you, go kill it." That's what Rabbit used to say, you know what I'm saying? When Rabbit married Seetha, Wayne was real young. But Rabbit treated him like, you know, like it was his biological son, no different. But like I said, his punishment was he couldn't write raps, bro. I couldn't believe that shit. The Tune. Because that's what Rabbit always called him. Tune. That's where he get
the name from?
Yeah, it was his nickname, Tune. You know what I'm saying?
And where did it come from, Tune?
Because he liked the rap.
Little Weezy Wee, you know? One time for my pop up there, Rabbit, holding it down for your Duke.
What actually happened to him?
Rabbit? He got killed. Somebody shot him.
Set him up?
Nah, yeah, well, basically, he was at a nightclub we had that was hot in the hood called the Moon, where everybody coming to East on a certain night, like a Friday night. And, they jumped in the car with him and told him he was trying to bring him home, but he seen my cousin and somebody else at the gas station, and he ran his car into them. And when he ran the car into them, my cousin them laid down because they didn't know what was going on. But when they jumped out with their guns, the dude had them they jumped out shooting Rabbit and got fucked. But he wasn't bringing them home, bro.
How did the goose take that when Rabbit departed?
Man, it was hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, each time, like, King died or something and Neil died. Like,
that shit changed Rabbit, did something to him.
Yeah, man, you know, it just...
Did something to all y'all, probably.
Yeah, but it made Rabbit and the other cats bad. Because it was a tight-knit clip. It made them go hard with what they do and how they did it.
What happened to Wayne? Did you see a major change in Wayne when Rabbit died?
Yeah, when he died, I remember him moving. They were staying with kids he was going to school. He was staying with Miss Rose, that's Rabbit mom. But you know, like show that, like right after that's when his career started jumping off with Cash Money, because he, like I said, he started writing rap when Neil died.
I can't believe them niggas stole you. That's just pain to me. But don't trip, I hold you down. You still remain through me.
And then, like a shadow stepping into the light, Birdman came back around. He remembered the kid from Holly Grove, the one leaving raps on his voicemail every day. Rabbit was gone, and that means Wayne was wide open. Depending on who you ask, Rabbit's death was just bad luck. But in the streets, rumors grow fast. Some people still whisper that Rabbit was standing in the way, that he didn't trust Birdman, that he wanted to manage Wayne himself, that maybe Rabbit's death was too convenient. But nothing was proven, just silence again. What we do know is Birdman stepped in immediately, bought Wayne new clothes, put him in the studio, made sure he was seen, not as a kid, but as a prodigy. And Wayne, he loved it. The money, the cars, the energy, but more than that, he loved belonging. It's easy to judge that from the outside, but imagine being 11 years old with a father figure gunned down and the biggest name in the city say, "Your family now." But the pain didn't leave Wayne. It sat in his chest. At just 12 years old, Wayne shot himself. A self-inflicted wound to the chest. He said it was an accident, playing around with the gun. But later in life, he admitted it wasn't.
Just wondering, you got shot, right? You shot yourself by accident?
Yeah, it was an accident.
What happened?
Oh, nothing, just an accident. I was young, stupid, tripping, high. It's cool. I'm here making buku money. Yeah. Shout out to How to Go, that was on Monroe Street too. Shout out How to Go, Leander's in Monroe, you heard me. My nigga Kellen had got shot like 3 weeks after that in the same apartment. Shout out him, he lived too. He shot himself too, tripping. Shout out Kellen. And the fucking, he tripping, him and his little round playing, wigging. Shout out Kellen, man.
That near-death moment became a new life for Wayne. A fire was lit. He was gonna survive this city. He wasn't gonna do it halfway. Soon after, Wayne was back in the booth, writing with vengeance. Birdman put him in a duo with another young Cash Money recruit, a kid from Uptown, one with his own demons, Christopher B.G. Dorsey. And from there, the BGs was born. Before the Hot Boys, before the world tours, it started with 2 kids, Lil Wayne from Holly Grove and BG from Uptown New Orleans. Cash Money put them together in a group called the BGs, short for Baby Gangsters. The idea was to let the streets speak through the youth. These weren't just child stars, they were child soldiers, raised in a war zone. Their debut album, True Story, dropped in 1995. Wayne went by Baby D, young, wild, and hungry. BG was only 14, but his verses sound like he was 40. That's because Christopher Dorsey's life wasn't normal. Born and raised in Uptown New Orleans, one of the most dangerous areas in America, by the time he could ride a bike, he already had shootouts. By 12, he was hooked on heroin, a 12-year-old. BG's father was murdered when he was just a toddler. His mother tried to keep him straight, but the streets was louder than her voice. Cash Money was his only way out. But even then, he never truly left the trap. His voice was raspy, his eyes was half dead, but when he rapped, people listened, because it wasn't entertainment, it was survival. Wayne and BG built a bond quickly. They weren't the same. Wayne was more protected, BG was exposed. But both of them knew the pain, and they both used rap to fight it. True Story didn't go platinum, it didn't chart, but it was the first step, a spark at the bottom of Cash Money fuse. After the label realized something, these kids could really spit. All they needed was the right team, the right formula. So Birdman and Slim made a move that would shift everything. They brought a soldier from 3rd Ward, a seasoned team who already had Uptown on lock, Juvenile, and just like that, the Hot Boys was born.
Original Hot Boy, and he just was like, gave us the flavor, and then Lil Jesus came, Juve, and we just connected and it made them 4 boys the Hot Boys, the biggest group that ever entered the music industry, you understand what I'm saying?
Well, let Lil Wayne tell y'all the definition of a Hot Boy.
A paper chaser who got they block on fire, remaining the G until the moment he expire. He know what it is to make something out of nothing. He handle his biz and don't be crying and suck.
If BG and Wayne was the spark, Juvenile was the flame. He wasn't a rookie. He wasn't wide-eyed. By the time he linked with Cash Money, he had already lived the life they was trying to rap about. Taurus Gray, better known as Juvenile, came up in the Magnolia Projects in New Orleans' 3rd Ward. That wasn't just the hood. It was the battlefield. Shootouts, dope fiends, stick-up kids. You couldn't survive Magnolia unless you was built for it. And Juvenile, he was built for it. Before Birdman came calling, Juvenile already had a buzz in the streets with his bounce music. He had the local classic Soldier Rag, and the city knew he was next. He had the style, he had the slang, he had the streets. All he needed was a bigger machine. When Cash Money signed Juvenile, they didn't just get another artist. They got a front man, someone who could stand on stage and make the whole South feel seen. He wasn't polished, he wasn't commercial, but Juvenile didn't need gimmicks. He had presence. When he rapped, it sounded like a warning, like somebody big cousin giving you game and letting you know what not to do. And that's what made him perfect for what was coming next. Birdman didn't want a solo act, he wanted a movement. So he did what a lot of bosses do when they're building an army. He found the glue. Juvenile was the glue. And next time he stepped in the booth, he wasn't alone. The final piece to the puzzle, he wasn't a superstar. He didn't have a hit record. He wasn't on the billboards. But what he did have was heart, and that's why they called him in. They called him Hot Boy Turk, from the methamphetamine projects in the heart of New Orleans' 6th Ward. Different territory, different energy. If the Magnolia was wild, methamphetamine was unpredictable. It didn't get the fame, but it had the same pain. Turk was younger, hungrier, and loyal to the core. He wasn't the flashiest, but he was a real one. Some say he reminded Birdman of Wayne, young, raw, and fearless. When he linked up with BG, Wayne, and Juvie, something clicked. It wasn't forced, it wasn't fake. They were just hot boys. 4 different corners of New Orleans, one mission. Rap like the life depended on it, because most days it did. Turk brought balance to the crew. He wasn't the best rapper, but he added flavor. He was animated, aggressive, and funny in a way that made darkness sound playful. When it was time to hit the studio, Birdman knew he had something. Not just the crew, not just the label, a dynasty. The Hot Boys were officially loaded. Juvenile, BG, Lil Wayne, Turk, New Orleans' youngest legend, and Cash Money's ultimate weapon. 1997, the South was bubbling. No Limit had the streets on lock. And Cash Money, they were ready to make some noise. It started with Get It How You Live, the first official Hot Boys album. It didn't hit the Billboard charts, but it hit every block in Louisiana. Then came Guerrilla Warfare, the second Hot Boy album. This time they had a real budget, distribution from Universal, and a hunger that couldn't be faked. The album went platinum nationwide, and just like that, 4 kids from New Orleans became stars. But the real explosion happened when Juvenile dropped 400 Degrees. It wasn't just a solo album, it was basically a Hot Boys album with Juvie in the forefront. Wayne, Turk, BG, all over it, and Manny Fresh laced every beat. Hot became a national anthem. It was raw, repetitive, and relentless. And when Jay-Z jumped on the remix, it changed the game. All eyes turned to New Orleans. Cash Money wasn't just regional anymore. And then the nuclear bomb dropped.
Cash Money Records taking over for the 99 in the 2000s.
Back That Ass Up dropped, and the world has never been the same. It was bigger than hip-hop. It was bounce. It was culture. It was black joy at full volume. From BET to college parties, barbecues to wedding receptions, it crossed every line, never lost its roots. Juvenile became a star, the Hot Boys became legends, and Cash Money became an empire.
Might as well give it up before you start.
Cash Money, we got the BG Chopper Sit in the Ghetto and Store, that's platinum. We got Juvenile 400 Degrees, that's triple platinum. We got the Hot Boys, just went platinum in 4 weeks. So imagine what it's gonna be later on. Then we got me, October 19, Lil Wayne, Block is Hot, coming out platinum. Then we got Juvie, the G Code, coming out double platinum. Then we got Big Timers, I Got That Work, coming out triple platinum. Then we got the movie, Baller Block, and we shooting right here in the Noya. You understand? That's gonna be, however we could go platinum that way, we gonna do it that way. You heard me? Cash Money, and we don't drop albums, we drop classics.
We got this industry on lock, playboy.
The Hot Boys had the streets on fire. Juvenile 400 Degrees went multi-platinum. Back That Ass Up became a classic. BG dropped Chopper City in the Ghetto. Turk was locked in the studio. Wayne was coming into his own. Cash Money had momentum like never before. But behind the scenes, the money wasn't right, and the loyalty was starting to fade. Juvenile was the first to dip. He was Cash Money's first breakout artist, but wasn't seeing breakout money. He started asking questions. Where's the royalty checks? Where's the paperwork? Nobody had answers. Not Slim, not Birdman. So Juvie left. And when he left, he didn't look back. BG had been growing bitter. He was young, addicted, and surrounded by yes men. But he could still see the writing on the wall. Birdman might have given him a platform, but he wasn't giving him what he earned. BG walked away, but not quietly. He aired out the label in the interviews. He called it a trap. He said it wasn't love, it was control.
Bring it back, dog, to when it all started.
See, they went to blaming my drug addiction on, you know what I'm saying, talking about it was me. You know what I'm saying? Baby, I feel like everybody's jealous of him. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's just, man, boy, that be on some old shit. But I ain't gonna lie, I gotta clear this up. It ain't his brother Slim. He's old bitch ass nigga, baby. He's a dog. You hear me? Every dog had his dick. You know what I'm saying? What goes around comes around. You know what I'm saying? Nigga self.
Turk never got a chance to leave. In 2004, he was arrested in Memphis after a shootout with the police. A SWAT team raided the apartment he was in, and shots was fired. An officer was hit. Turk was charged with attempted murder. He spent the next 9 years in prison. By the time he got out, the game had passed him by. 3 hot boys gone. The group was finished. The brotherhood was broken. And Wayne stayed. Maybe it was loyalty. Maybe it was strategy. Maybe it was the fact he still believed in what Birdman built. Whatever the reason, Lil Wayne didn't just stay. He took the weight of the label on his shoulders and started preparing for war. When the hot boys' voices started to fade, Lil Wayne's got louder. He shifted from apprentice to frontman, from sidekick to star. His first album, The Block Is Hot, Cash Money pushed it hard. It went platinum. Wayne was 17, but the record showed 2 things. He can carry a project, and he was ready to lead. Then came Lights Out, 500 Degrees, and the mixtape grind. He linked up with a collective called Squad Up, raw, unfiltered. Wayne dropped bar after bar. The streets heard him, the industry couldn't ignore him.
17 wild cowards in uptown New Orleans, man. Born in the St. Thomas, though. Then I crossed over to the East and I balled in the East. Now they talk about the East when they talk about me.
Who are the members of the squad? How many members you got on there?
Well, I mean, in the group, it's like 6 of us. It's me, including me. It's T Streets. It's Gutter Gutter. It's Young Yo. It's Raw Dizzy. Nut Flame. And that's it.
500 Degrees was no accident. It was named in direct reference to Juvenile's 400 Degrees. Wayne was sending a message. We still here. I'm still here. His output went from one album every few years to mixtapes, features, leaks, non-stop bars. While the old crew was fading away, Wayne refused to vanish. The label needed a face, and in many ways, Wayne became the label. He announced new solo albums. He pushed the narrative. This empire was still alive. It wasn't overnight, but gradually, Wayne's name eclipsed Hot Boys. He carried the legacy, he carried the weight. He stepped onto the throne even when Birdman never intended him to. In 2004, Dwayne Carter was no longer a teenage rap prodigy. He was a man on a mission, focused, evolved, hungrier than ever. He stepped back into the studio, not to prove something to the world, but to prove something to himself. He called it the Carter, a name that meant legacy, a name that meant this time he was in full control. No allies, no distractions, just Wayne.
I bring it back to the bottom of the map. I bring it back to the bottom of the map.
The first Carter was a statement. Wayne came with Go DJ, Bring It Back, Snitch, and Walk In. The beat slapped, the flow was sharp, and the confidence unshakable. People started to realize he wasn't just another Southern rapper. He was building his own sound, his own lane, his own kingdom. Then in 2005, he doubled down with the Carter 2. New producers, new energy, a more lyrical, more focused Wayne. From the mob to the best rapper alive to hustler music. This wasn't just a level up. It was a transformation. He wasn't playing by anyone else's rules anymore. The wordplay was surgical. The delivery was effortless. The confidence, undeniable. He called himself the best rapper alive. And suddenly, nobody wanted to argue. And just when it felt like he peaked, Wayne opened up the floodgates. Freestyles, mixtapes, features, remix. He was rapping over everything and killing it all. Blogs couldn't keep up. Other rappers couldn't compete. He was becoming the pulse of hip-hop. Wayne wasn't chasing charts. He was chasing greatness. And with each verse, each bar, each punchline, he was getting closer. By 2008, the mixtapes were legendary. Blogs were flooded. The industry was watching. But Wayne had something else up his sleeve. The album that would silence every doubt. something that couldn't be denied. The Carter 3. It wasn't just another release. It was a cultural moment. From Lollipop to A Milli to Mr. Carter, Wayne was everywhere. Lollipop went #1. A Milli became a freestyle blueprint, and I Got Money shook the radio to its core. He wasn't riding the wave, he was the wave. But the numbers told the story the loudest. 1 million copies sold in 1 week. Platinum in 7 days. 4 Grammy wins, including Best Rapper Album. The Carter 3 wasn't just a classic, it was proof that Wayne had finally reached the mountaintop. But what made it special wasn't just the hits, it was the way he did it. No gimmicks, no cosigns, no ghostwriters, just Wayne, pure Wayne. This wasn't the kid from Holly Grove anymore. This was the king of rap, crowned not by the industry, but by the culture. Because in 2008, Lil Wayne was hip-hop.
And the Grammy goes to Carter 3,
Yes,
Lil
sir.
Wayne.
Yes, sir.
I just want to say thank God, thank New Orleans, thank these people you see right here, and thank you.
Lil Wayne could have coasted after the Carter 3. He had the fame, the respect, the crown, but instead of sitting on top alone, he started building a kingdom.
Didn't your mama tell you not to mess with them aliens? I'm just trying to make like a Australian. Dreams of Miss Sarah Palin and Don McCain look like it's hard about to fail them. But scratch that Young Money, we the greatest. Add another check to my checkers and savings. Add 4 F's to the Wheezy F, baby. Now I'm Wheezy and babe.
In 2009, Lil Wayne officially launched Young Money Entertainment. Not just a label, not just a brand, but a movement. His goal was simple: find the next generation superstar and give them everything he never had. His first draft pick, Aubrey Drizzy Drake Graham.
Called me one day and I was in the barbershop getting my hair cut and he was like, but it's, you know, he called me from his number, but you know, it was like, and the phone rang and I picked it up and it was like, yo, and I was like, you probably know that voice. I was like, hello? It was like, yo, what's up? I was like, this doesn't sound like my friend. And he's like, yo, what's up? It's Wheezy. And it was, you know, it ended up being Wayne. And he was like, I'm starting this thing called Young Money, and I'd really love for you to be a part of it. So I want to fly you out to Houston and meet you. And he did just that the day after.
A former child actor from Toronto, half Jewish, emotionally vulnerable, and not your typical rap recruit. But Wayne saw something. And when he flew Drake to Houston and put him on the tour bus, hip-hop would never be the same. And then came the queen, Onika Tanya Mirage.
Okay, pause. Like I said, he saw me on the DVD. He said, I got to have that girl shout it. Ayo, shout it. Y'all want to meet Nick and shout it. And he met me. Who doesn't take a flight when Weezy F Baby's on the phone? You know what I'm saying? I just got on the flight and met him. We had a long talk about the business, and he's very, you know, he was very serious, you know. He said, I want you to be down, and, you know, and that's what he did.
Nicki Minaj, from Southside Jamaica, Queens, a mixtape monster with bars, attitude, and presence. Wayne gave her the freedom to go full throttle, and when she did, she exploded. Then came Tyga, Gutter Gutter, Jay Mills, Corey Guns. The roster was loaded with hungry spitters, but it was clear from early on, the big three were Wayne, Drake, and Nicki. Wayne wasn't just signing artists, he was mentoring them. Bar for bar, flow for flow, studio to stage. And they listened, because this was Wayne at his peak, a king building kings. In 2009, We Are Young Money dropped. The compilation gave the world Bedrock, Every Girl, Roger That, Pass the Dutchie, and it proved that this wasn't just a vanity label, it was a factory of stars. Drake would go on and sell out stadiums. Nicki would break barriers for women in rap. Tyga would deliver hits and reinvent himself multiple times. But it all traces back to one man, one vision, Lil Wayne, the architect of Young Money.